Spiral, 2 Jews, 2 mics, 2 hours, starting now.
Good morning.
Why, good morning, sir.
No, seriously, how's it going?
It's going fantastic.
Josh, I went to my therapist over the weekend. She said I need to be more positive. Enough with this nervous Nelly, negative Nat stuff.
That's right. Gratitude's the attitude, my friend.
How you doing, Schmoopy?
I'm all right.
I know. I am not all right. I am not all right. This is the difference between you and me. I wake up to, I'm not someone who, I don't even watch MSNBC, but, the assassination attempt, and now Eileen Cannon has dismissed all the charges against.
Yes.
Yes.
She's such a great judge.
She is a great judge.
One of the great thinkers, that one.
I am starting to lose faith in the criminal justice system, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's intellectually dishonest, what we're doing.
Yes.
That woman's a criminal. He stole the things, and she said, I have decided after 3 years that Jack Smith should not have been hired. How did she decide that? Okay, that's done. That's one.
I'm gobsmacked. I don't know.
And then, sometimes I want a little news, something. So I turn on MSNBC.
Yeah.
And Chuck Todd's on. And Chuck Todd's saying, he goes, both sides are guilty of this violence and this violent talk, and both sides do it, and they both need to get together. And I think if Trump and Biden would make a PSA together, we sitting in the chair, and they played that all the way to the election. I think that would. What is he doing? And first of all, Morning Joe's gone this week, and I don't even like him.
And you were wishing for them?
No, but people on Twitter or ex-Twitter are like, what the fuck? I mean, I never realized he had fans, but they're like, but then there's a new, I don't even see the regular people anymore. I mean, I think Andrea Mitchell is doing the nighttime coverage.
You all right?
I am all right.
Okay.
I am all right. But I will be honest with you. I've been giving lip service to my therapist, to everybody besides my therapist, about how I can't let this overwhelm my life. You can't, what they say in the Serenity Prayer, God, give me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom. Exactly. And I'm getting more increasingly, not like the old days, go on Twitter and go, fuck this guy, fuck that guy, fuck the other guy, hoping that will do it.
All right.
But I'm getting increasingly more agitated. And I imagine you are too, but I don't even watch it and I'm agitated.
Yeah. No, it's all, it's cray-cray. Looking at Twitter though, after, the assassination attempt was just like staring into doom.
Was that conspiracy theories?
It was, on both sides. Everyone was, it was all conspiracy theories or just stupid theories in general, or just the platitudes of there's no place for political violence, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, oh my God, I fucking hate everybody.
Well, I don't hate Biden because he had to say it, at least.
Huh?
I'm going back on the Biden train, but Biden did pretty good, and he was awake for the whole thing, and
yeah, we're the last podcast whose show this week is talking about how old Biden is.
Well, the thing is that these people.
It was so weird though when this over the week. Just my experience with it.
Yeah.
Was I happened to turn on the news at the moment where they cut to the rally where it had just happened.
God.
And they cut to.
Wait, you saw it live?
Well, sort of. They cut to the moment after he had already gotten to his feet and was bloodied.
Yeah.
And was pumping his fist and shit. So that was the first image I saw.
That's just
terrible. And and you couldn't roll back to see what happened because they didn't cut to it until then. So it was like this moment of, did someone throw something at, because his face was bloody, and it was like, did someone get to him on stage somehow? And then it's like, it took like 15 minutes kind of for them to roll it back and show what happened. And it was crazy.
Well, first of all, I think the problem that our country has is not understanding how incompetent we are, even with all of our big things.
That is an excellent point, which I was going to make as well.
The roof? The roof?
Yeah.
Who's on the roof? How do you let a guy get on a roof?
I know. But you look at something like Uvalde and you go, oh yeah, because fucking police can be completely fucking incompetent.
Completely fucked up. And they're the police. And I'm not saying the police, but didn't you when you were a kid or younger think, boy, that's Secret Service. They got it all covered. Don't even try it with them because they're blah, blah, blah. But apparently we're not good at avoiding assassinations. We're not good at it. And then we just assume that there's not going to be any or something. But what? Yeah,
and this totally seems like had school been in session, that's where the shooting would have been with this kid, is kind of what it seems like. I mean, it didn't seem like a political act. It seemed like the bullied white kid with a gun syndrome, you know?
Well, I know, I don't know if anything's true, but I hear online, I can't go by online, but there's some people I trust on the various things, and they say that $15, the guy that wasn't even him. That was another Frank, Crocker.
I mean, I think that's so.
Did you hear that one?
I just saw that he had given 15. You know, they thought someone reported it responsibly and said someone with that name gave $15, but it was still to a progressive voting. It's like, but it doesn't matter because conspiracy theories don't. Yeah, I mean, he's never voted for either of these presidents. You know?
Right. You're not coming to his defense, right?
Who, the kid?
The kid. I want to say something inappropriate. I can't stop it. They say don't say anything inappropriate, but I don't want to. I'm not going to. I want to be obviously respectful, but it's just, I am so like, I want to jump out of my skin, maybe is what it is.
Yeah, I'm feeling that way too. Plus we got a big credit card fraud thing this morning that we had to take care of. So.
What happened?
Someone stole my wife's card and charged shit somehow.
Oh. Man,
some sort of identity theft thing.
Did you shut it down?
Yeah.
Is it millions of dollars?
No, but hundreds.
Yeah. I have that happen to me once a year. And of course, why am I one-upping you? There's no reason to, but I have that happen every once a year. We had a thing happen 7 months ago where our Capital One kept saying, no. We know that you brought that credit card into that restaurant. We know that they say that you had the credit card. They charged like 7 things from this restaurant and that we never, during the pandemic, we didn't go into this restaurant 8 times. You can't win though with these people.
Did you win ultimately?
No, they put the charges back on. I don't care. This is not about me, Josh. This is about having a soothing balm for the entire country.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to do now.
Gotcha.
What can I do today? So here's the thing.
Yeah.
They're going to find out. What are they going to find out? Just that they didn't cover the roof, or they
didn't cover the roof. I mean, what I've heard thus far is that part of the perimeter was cops' responsibility. But
no, you can't do that. No, you can't say.
You can't leave a clear line of sight open to the.
So the Secret Service guy goes, I think that a guy could get on. First of all,
plus people saw him on the roof and tried to tell cops that before it happened too, and there's video of that taking place.
Oh my God! First, you know what I didn't realize, and I guess I don't understand it because I don't shoot guns. That's an easy gun I don't even know what they mean. It's an easy gun to operate. You could absolutely kill somebody from that distance because of the red laser thing. It takes the guesswork out of it.
I don't know if he had a laser sight or not, but I've fired those guns before, and the fact that I could do it tells you that it's pretty easy to do.
Well, no, you might have good aim too, but this was unbelievable that he. So that's what's going to happen. And when you think about the Uvalde thing,
as much ill as I have wished Trump, I've always wished it God punishing him, not human punishing him.
God, right.
But truly think of where we'd be had his head been an inch different. Just,
I don't know where would we be?
It would just be
like a revolution or some kind of weird thing.
It would be a fucking mess if that happened.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 sides to this. There's the side that I can't summon on a real human level. If something happened to him, I would not lose 1 minute of sleep because he's brought it on himself. But I would not. So it's not. I would have to summon something to go. Well, I hope he's okay. Well, I hope he's okay. You know what I mean? How everybody
No, I
does
know.
that?
I mean, it challenged every kind of feeling, really. It really did.
Yeah.
Because, because we all know we've wished ill on the guy.
Right. But
but that would have been a national disaster had he been shot in the head. Probably worse than the national disaster of when he gets elected again, in many ways.
Oh, you think he's going to get elected again?
I think there's a chance. I think it certainly didn't hurt his chances.
Well, because he's a hero now, because he was able to take a bullet.
I think that this was one of those situations where his narcissism served him fucking beautifully.
That's right.
Because as soon as he realized he wasn't dead, his next thought was, "How do I look? How do I look? How do I look? How do I look?
That's exactly right.
And he played it brilliantly in that regard, But it was just such a. It was like I said, it was his narcissism truly serving him in that moment.
It is, there is, for some reason, I have the royal in me says, this is not fair. This isn't fair. The royal guy.
Right.
How is this possible that this is happening? And, to get your arms around the fact that it's not that everything you believed was untrue, but I was taught America was the good guys. You know what I mean? Even though I had Vietnam era teachers who went to get out of the draft who were telling me how we got into Vietnam, you still had this general World War II, we're a wonderful country, we're basically on the right side of things. I don't think that's true anymore.
Well,
I think it's
first understand that every country teaches their kids that about their country.
I guess that's true. But I mean, really?
Yeah.
Even in the modern,
I would say schools encourage patriotism to their country of origin. Yes,
right. But that's you have all this dispute with the right wing trying to shut down teaching about black people, but people are trying to teach about. So you think in almost every country, I don't know, what are we talking about? We have to go country by country.
I'm just saying every country tells its own story in its own way.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, right.
No, and I agree with you that it is wrong to mistell the story.
It's wrong to mistell the story or to think that we have the higher ground as a nation.
Right.
Or like when we go to the UN that we better be listened to, but we're not going to say anything about the it's like. But
I'm just saying that, Russian kids are taught that they have the higher ground,
Yeah.
French kids.
They used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay, then you get to be an adult, and then you get to see how things are. So
right.
I'm an intelligent person, and I can see now how things are. So I would assume people in other countries could tell that how fucked up things were, and then we all join together and we have a movement of some kind.
Well, and I think the healthy component of where you are is that you're ranking incompetence very high on the scale of things that are wrong. You know what I mean? It's not it's not a world of masterminds necessarily.
I thought it was. I really did think it was on a certain level. No, I mean, I started to doubt the Secret Service, but years ago I used to think, oh, this is the greatest thing in the world, but it's not. They have politics and they have all kinds of problems within their own organization, and they're the people, and you can't even say anything because they're secret.
Well, and they're super spread thin right now too, because they have the Republican convention happening this week, and they have vice presidential and presidential appearances to cover, and that and candidates don't get the same protection as a president.
Even Trump
does. Even former presidents don't get the same detail.
I didn't know that
as a real president. Yeah.
That I didn't know.
Yeah,
I thought they would be.
They get a detail, but it's not.
Right.
It's not nearly the same kind of operation that follows the president around.
Yes. So I would like God to grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. But I don't feel serene right now. I don't think I'm going to feel serene. But I can't literally drive myself crazy between now. I mean, every minute of every day since not just that happened, but since that happened, I just walk around going, and I don't, like you say that if it had gone the other way, if he was dead, that we would have been even more in some horrible thing.
Well, yeah, just the amount of people who would have immediately blamed Biden and called conspiracy for leaving that alley
the
open.
roof.
Yeah.
The roof, right?
Yeah.
They're blaming it on Biden.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Biden's debate performance. It's like everyone can see that that's fucked up. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know? It doesn't. It's not. There's no tactical knowledge you need to have to say that you can't have a fucking guy on a roof 100 yards away with a clear shot at the podium. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but he has an AR-15, and he has, it's like
it brings in every aspect of our political scene. Yes.
Exactly. Well, I don't know, because I've had this thing with
including
myself.
the crisis among young white men in our country and black men, but young men in our country in general.
It was even hard for me to watch these people who were like, as a doctor there, and he saved someone's life. He goes, and I'm wearing my Trump shirt and it's like surreal to me.
Yeah.
It's a doctor, but he's full of propaganda, and he doesn't even, I don't know why the Trump thing stands out, maybe because of how clear it is. How black and white it is, and how it seems to be impossible to stop, you know?
Yeah.
Or I feel it's impossible to stop. I feel hopeless.
Yeah, I feel pretty hopeless myself. Although I guess, I don't know. My sense of perspective comes in, again, when it comes to incompetence. You know, it's like I have almost faith in incompetence when it comes to Trump. You know,
yeah.
The fact,
so that's something. Well, yeah.
In the sense that I don't believe they can come into office and efficiently, accomplish their goals. You know,
but when you think about how much he, it's like whenever you focus on one thing, I almost spaced on his name, but literally James Comey. He, by himself, arguably lost the election for Hillary Clinton, because that had never been done before, a week before.
Right.
And this guy was a terrible FBI agent. He was saying racist things about Black Lives Matter. But again, that doesn't help. Doesn't help. I can't go focus on him because it's not going to help. You can't focus on the past. It's not going to help. But going forward, I can't watch MSNBC. I can't watch CNN. So I'm going to have to just rely on Apple News. Here's the thing. I was hoping you would be able to turn it around for me.
Yeah. On what?
In other words, I get on the phone.
How about this? I made you some ice cream this weekend.
Oh, my God. I will never forget during our session last week when you said, tell me more about the ice cream. I finally figured out that you need, even Josh Elvis Weinstein, have you ever heard this, needs an attaboy.
Well, I do. Especially, I mean, as I said last week, I need it because we have listeners who've been listening to me going on about ice cream.
Right.
So there has to be some payoff to that. I can't just say I'm making really good ice cream. That doesn't lend it credibility. I wanted an attaboy and I wanted some backup.
I will stress again, and maybe we'll talk about it 3 or 4 more shows. It's not like you're tasting something and you go, oh, this is a good thing. No, you're tasting top quality ice cream.
There you go.
From the king. Well, no, maybe you're not the king, but I'm going to call you the king. By the way,
getting shit from you about getting reassurance for something really rings hollow for a guy who wants praise for understanding a sentence.
Are you flipping it around on me?
I am, yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very proud I give myself an attaboy many times a day.
Yeah, I know.
And you think, so in other words, you think maybe I'm getting into that area with.
I'm just saying, throw me a fucking bone once in a while without giving me shit for it.
You're absolutely right. Are we going to? Are we getting back to the point where I'm ungrateful?
No,
not that bad.
No, you were just being critical in a way that rubbed me wrong.
What was the critical? What was I being critical about?
Me asking for a confirmation of the ice cream.
Oh, no. I do not mean at all. In fact, as I said it, I felt bad about it. Because that's not what you're doing.
Because I did too.
That's not what you're doing. I'm bad.
You made me seem so fucking needy when it was just talking ice cream. That's all I'm doing.
Yes, but I was trying to make
There is an issue with your ice cream, by the way, is I packed it last night with when I put it in for the freeze, I apparently left a big air bubble in it.
In my ice cream?
In your ice cream. So so there's like a pit in the middle of it that looks
How
as
does
if
it taste?
someone sampled. I didn't try it. I tried it when it came out of the thing, and it's pretty good. There's a little, there's nothing you can do about the aftertaste is the problem with those sweeteners.
With sugar, you mean?
But it's
without
pretty
the
good.
sugar.
It comes pretty late. The aftertaste comes very late in the experience, which is the best I can say.
It's interesting you say that because I don't have sugar in my coffee, but we've gotten used to the taste of, like, she takes stevia in her tea, and now we are very used to.
And I think if
flavor.
you're used to it, you're going to like it.
Oh, okay.
But I did use. I might not have used the exact right thing. I used like the stevia that's mixed to be equivalent to the sugar kind.
Yeah, it has like
it does have some kind of alcohol,
like monk fruit in there,
not monk
stuff
fruit.
Like that.
No, it has something, a vitriol or something.
Right, but it's still
along
with
stevia.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
What was the thing?
We'll see. This is the first try. We'll see.
Did you say vitriol? It has vitriol?
No, you have vitriol. It has erythritol.
I feel bad now that I really did hurt your feelings. I didn't mean to do that.
You didn't really. I heightened it for.
Okay, for
show
effect, right?
Yeah.
For the show effect.
Yeah, I did.
So here's the thing. I decided that I can't watch anything. So I decided it's gonna be back like 2016 for now. So I started to watch The Slums of Beverly Hills again. Oh my God. What a great movie. I know that I'm a terrible movie reviewer, but Tamara Jenkins, the movie is so amazingly great. And I know I've asked you this, what her other movies are, but I want to watch all of her movies, because that's what I'm going to be. I can't get through World War III just with true crime. Can't do it.
No, it doesn't help your faith in humanity, really.
And true crime, some of it is fantastic, but some of it is like, you're not going to believe this guy, the most gruesome thing he ever did. I mean, it gets one note after a while.
Yeah.
That's my fault. What are you looking at? What are you seeing?
I'm looking up what Tamara Jenkins.
Oh, yeah. I think we've had this discussion before, even. She wrote and directed it. Alan Arkin is in it. Marissa Tomei is in it.
My friend David Krumholtz is in it.
He's so great in this movie. And, of course, Natasha is sublime. Is that the way you say it? Sublime.
No.
And Carl Reiner's in it. I mean, it's like one of a series of movies that to me is like, I hate to say it, butter. It's like, but I could watch it over and over and over and over again. I've only seen the movie a couple times.
Yeah. I've seen it once and liked it.
Yeah.
She did Slums of Beverly Hills, The Savages, and Private Life.
Yeah, I don't know what this. People say The Savages was great.
I never saw it.
Oh, let me. Well, I don't have to write that down. I'll look later. Well, Savages.
But
was
I like
what year?
Philip Seymour Hoffman and Laura Linney a whole lot.
Are they in Savages?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what was the third one?
Private Life.
Oh, okay. I'm going to see everything that you. And the thing is, you really do realize that you're watching something, and you're watching something that is not a male-dominated thing. In other words, she's agonizing about having to wear a bra, right? That's not. You're not going to get that from male writers. You know, you're just not going to get it. I mean, you can, but I'm just saying it is the fact that there's so much misogyny and things like that. I mean, how many movies are we missing because of sexism and all that kind of stuff? Many is my. I know. I'm probably making a point that is not 100%, but it absolutely is that if you didn't have to go through a training bra, why would you know about it? You know, why would you make a big deal out of it? And it's just compelling the way she does it. You know? Now we're getting into that thing where I don't talk about movies well. Okay, so anyway, check it out.
Your enthusiasm is
infectious?
Not infectious, because I'm not enthusiastic, but
stimulating?
Attractive.
Attractive?
Yeah, enthusiasm can be attractive, especially in this world, this jaded world.
One of my earliest jokes was on the I was looking on the Denny's thing, and then they said, "Did you find the outside of the building is attractive and appealing?" Yes, it drew me in like a magnet. Absolutely. I could never get that joke to work unless I said it drew me in like a fucking magnet. So now I think that it is not a great joke.
Well, you know, the problem is there's a lot of setup to get to. You're filling out a Denny's questionnaire.
No, it's not even. It wasn't even Denny's. It was. I'm looking at the comment cards at some place. I don't even think it was a Denny's.
Yeah.
I was fascinated when I first went on the road, and I still am fascinated by the whole. But it doesn't translate. After a while, people are not driving like you are and saying "eat, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I found that charming. Or there's a fork on the outside of the restaurant. I could never transfer. I'm not saying. Also, I wasn't very good at being a comic back then.
Right. You were having trouble appealing to the flyovers.
I think now that I look back at it, it was all my wanting too much from the crowd.
Laughter.
For these observations.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing the thing about eat. I mean, it's got laughs. It
Right.
was like I had nothing else. It was a staple of my act, but it never got like
good laughs.
It never got the laugh of a genius. It's like, oh my God, that's a genius bit, because it wasn't.
Right.
But I will say this: it was still, one thing in therapy you do learn is that to let go of your hate of yourself in earlier times. And that's what I'm trying to do, which is really important to do, because you think, God damn it, if I had known what I know now, I would have done better. It's just impossible. It's impossible to not be a bad comic.
It's just hate yourself now.
Yes.
And don't worry about hating old Andy.
That's what I love about you. That's why I go to you.
Hate yourself in the now.
Right, in the moment. That's
Be
what he said.
present in your hatred of yourself.
Be here now to hate yourself.
Yes.
Did you watch Alcaraz? It was so great.
I did. He just kicked the shit out of Djokovic.
And I don't know about you, but you probably don't watch as much. I can't stand Djokovic. I've never liked him. He's always, but he was okay. Actually, he was actually okay in this match.
This is one of the things I like about sports.
Yeah,
where you get a guy like that, or Kobe Bryant, where someone where you can watch their life over the course of 20 years,
That's right.
essentially.
Yes,
and you can watch these young assholes grow up, have kids, change because of that, grow a soul, and I think that's totally the last few years I've seen that with Djokovic, is that he's been a gracious sort of statesman as opposed to that asshole that he came on the scene as,
But did you see him during the match where he said that they were booing? He said, they're booing me. I mean, he just went nuts. Not this match, but an earlier match.
I didn't see that.
Because he was playing a guy named Gruner.
They
were going Gruner, and they go and the guy interviewing him said, "Don't you think they were saying Gruner?" He goes, "Yeah, some were, but the others were using it as an excuse to boo."
Yeah,
which I believe it. What he does, that I think is kind of weird, is just like calling people down from the stands. Come here and say that to me.
Yeah,
come here and say that to me. Well, they're not going to come there and say that to him.
All right.
And yes, he could probably kick their ass, but it's just it's the way. Come on down.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that this year. So.
But Alcaraz, it's much like Barbra Streisand talked about Andre Agassi. Much like that. He is Baryshnikov. He is a ballet. He really reminds me a lot of, he's not Federer, but he reminds me of a lot of the things that Federer could do, which were make-up shots that there's no shot that's ever been done like that. That's just him going cross court. No, and it just seems very comfortable doing it.
He did seem comfortable yesterday, at least.
And the Mets they lost the last game.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just letting you know.
No, but I'm saying they're doing very well.
That's good.
Are you baseball free this year?
I'm not baseball free, but I'm not baseball not baseball engaged.
Well, you would be engaged only if the Twins did better.
I don't
even know how they're doing.
They're doing okay, but even then, it's it would be a postseason pursuit for me with the Twins because I can't see that many of their games.
Oh, because you don't have the package.
I do not have the package, and I'm not getting the package.
I'm getting the package. I have the package. I'm all about the Mets. I'm all about them, and I even am watching the post-game show, which isn't as good as when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we watched Kiner's Corner. Kiner's Corner was Ralph Kiner. He was he had 500 and something home runs. And so it's Lindsey Nelson and Bob Murphy here at Shea. I was just obsessed with, I told you my friend and I, when we were 9, we would broadcast whole games, fake games. We would just sit there and go, and it's the top of the first. Then we would just go along. Well, that was something.
Just make up what happened.
Yes.
Yeah,
and not even into a recorder, I don't think.
Very imaginative.
Yeah. Peter Tarr and I would get together and do that all the time.
An 8-run home run! Oh my God! It's amazing! It's a miracle!
Then I watched this other thing today, which is pretty great. I'm sure you've seen it before. This is the second time I've seen it.
Then the white fielder ran into the center field and exploded! Boom!
Oh, God. Then I watched a Balco. I've seen it a couple times already. The Balco thing.
Yeah.
This Balco, I don't know if you remember the time period.
You're rewatching the Balco scandal, Doc?
No, they have it. Yes, exactly. I've watched it the second time. Yeah. I thought, but what happens to me is I have limited things that I know are good, and then I sometimes will watch them twice. So the Balco thing is part of that. What's that series? It's called like
30 for 30 or
30 for 30.
Outside the lines or
ungood.
Right.
So just really, 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 really great. But the fact that these guys were like, that Barry Bonds still says he never did it. He still denies they ever did. And then you see these guys like literally monsters, steroidal monsters, hitting home runs.
Yeah, most people go up 5 collar sizes late in life.
Well, the original Baco guy says, Victor something, Conti, he says, no, you can. Why wouldn't you be able to? He admits that he gave stuff to people, but then he, in some areas, says he didn't give stuff to people.
All right.
Right? I didn't give anything to Barry Bonds. And here's how you know someone's guilty. I never gave anything to Barry Bonds. And if you have any proof of that, I'd like to see it. Don't say that when you're on trial or in any format. You're basically saying you're not going to catch me.
All right.
Is your point there. Oh, Josh.
Oh, Andy.
Josh Elvis.
Oh, Andy. Oh, we're trouble, Andy.
Ooh. How you doing today, Floyd?
Doing very well.
And then what happened was the director told Floyd not to make that noise, and then Jack Benny got mad, right?
Right, something like that.
I love those stories. I love those stories about things that are just like the guy said, you know, that story particularly I love. I love show business.
Show business is fun.
Yes. I had dinner from a place that's very good. It's called La Cava. La Cava, yeah. Italian. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, it's Italian for the cava.
Well, don't mix it up with another place called Cava. It's not the same place.
Thank you.
You sound like that was bothering you for a long time, sticking in your throat.
Thank you. I just hope I have a mnemonic device that can make it work.
I also love thank you, because a guy used to work for my dad would be, he'd go, am I right? Thank you. Thank you was his, thank you. And he'd always punctuate everything.
Yeah.
His name was Dave Corcoran or something.
Fucking Dave.
Oh, he was angry.
Fucking Dave.
Well, that was the thing about going, if I ever wanted to go into my father's business, I don't even understand what it is. Someone calls up for, well, I knew what he originally did, which was, installing boilers and all that. But the gas business supply business where someone calls for a part and then you have to know, my friend Tom who worked there, he knew, oh, you need a Honeywell Sminky. I have no desire to know, and I don't think I ever would have learned.
You didn't have to know. You had to be able to look it up.
Oh, that's right.
In a book.
That's right. Yeah. It was very boring.
Very
boring. I worked for my father.
It does not seem like it would have been your wheelhouse.
Oh, the worst.
Yeah.
He made me clean out, and he didn't make me do anything. I didn't ask him to work. He gave me work. I asked him, can I work? I was cleaning out every year we would clean out the back stairs that were just, so it was like I wasn't doing anything. There's no computer involved. I learned no school.
What was his place of work like? Was it a warehouse with a counter at the front kind of thing, like an auto parts sort of thing?
Yeah, but small, small. Yeah, so there was a part in the back, but yes, exactly like that. And was
it a freestanding building, or was he?
Yes, a freestanding building.
Okay.
And
in Queens.
Queens. It's in Long Island City, 3514 Crescent Street.
Okay.
Is that bad to say that?
No, because your dad doesn't own it anymore.
Yeah, but now people are going to
makes me want to Google map it.
Yeah. So it was it was on Crescent Street, and then this is what my dad would tell me the stories about people who, they loved my dad because he would kibitz with them. He was beloved as just a person in any, we get to go see Larry. But then he told me those stories about where they would say, let me go, Larry, let me go. Who's keeping you? Who's keeping? And that's from that office is where my dad walked down to a couple of blocks to the local deli, ordered a sandwich, and the guy said, I saw your son on TV. What a head of hair. I miss those days. Oh, I miss kibitzing with my dad. But that's the love that I got in my life was from my father. I mean, just the joyful parts of life.
This is in Astoria, perhaps?
Long Island City.
Oh, because
they used to call my father Lawrence of Astoria as a joke.
Right.
And then my father's trucks, when he was Pilot Gas and Heat, were iconic because the design that he had made, not that he made, but his friend made, was like a pilot light. And beautiful, like just the pilot light burning. Pilot Gas and Heat.
Uh-huh. Gotcha.
Right? And people still don't believe that my father, that Trump wouldn't pay my father. People still think I'm making that up, that he wouldn't pay my father and that my father refused to work with him ever again. My father hated Trump more than anybody I've ever seen before all this happened.
All right.
Remember when we got him Trump? You've heard the story a million times. We got him Trump the board game because we knew he hated Trump.
Yeah.
And we thought that would be funny. He hated it. Why would and then later we were like, what are we, idiots? We think that's funny? It's like a joke present. But
you thought you could wind him up.
Well.
But you didn't wind him up fun.
No. But that's got to be a gift that you give. We were terrible gift givers. You know how many CDs I gave to people? You know how many CDs I gave to people over the years? I gave my parents the Frank Sinatra, the Capitol Years. They never listened to that.
All right.
They had the one stereo in the living room that they just very rarely put on.
I really tried to get my parents to listen to music more, especially my dad when he was sick and stuff. But my dad loved live music, but aside from the car, he didn't listen to music.
Oh wow, that's interesting. It just is, yeah. But I heard a lot of music, but then I must have heard it from my sister, and I heard all the stuff the kids were liking.
Yeah.
Pretty well. I started with the Beatles, so you know what? They should put in prison everybody my age who's claiming some kind of connection to the Beatles. It's really not right.
Yeah.
I told you I saw I saw A Hard Day's Night in the theater. I thought it was a documentary. I'm serious. Because they took real scenes of Beatles running around.
Uh-huh.
I just thought this is the greatest thing. And I love her. They go and they sing together. Unbelievable movie. It's probably still a great movie.
It's not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie.
No. Help's a bad movie. But
I've only seen that once.
Hard Day's Night is a fun watch.
Yeah. And Magical Mystery Tour is not good.
It's a really hard watch, yeah.
But not on acid. I watched it on acid, and it was so great.
I will never get there.
You can't put the things together to make that.
No.
No. And I still brag about it. I still let it be in this. Maybe I can't let my previous life go.
Well, at least you're loving old Andy for the things he did, as opposed to hating him for the things he did. Yes.
Well, no, I hated things like I hated things.
Love in the past, hate in the present. I think that's the.
Well, but the point is that in other words, if I took the attitude like, I never want to tell anybody I wrote this song, Karen, and it was a horrible song. That's not, then I would never have had a childhood. I never would have had, in other words, if I'm going to deny all of that stuff, and I didn't think it would be a big hit later on, but it is truly, truly a horrible song.
Well, but you also realize it's, I would hope at 60 whatever, it's better to be funny than cool.
Right. Yes.
And it's our only hope.
Yes. Well, point. I'm very handsome, though. I can score. I score heavily.
Put all of my self-esteem into ice cream.
That's not a bad thing. And I think we should open up a small thing. Like they have in Austin, Amy's, is it? Josh's.
Josh's.
Yeah. I don't like that name. For the ice cream shop. Josh's.
Yes.
How about Afters? That bothers me too. Afters?
I don't. Is that a late night place? I hope.
Oh no, it's an ice cream place. So like, after we have our meal, we're going to go afters. Here's the guy who had Merging Traffic as the name of one of his bands, and he's making comments about oh my god, I just forgot the name of the thing. It doesn't matter. Don't bring it back. I want to hold my call a friend for a little bit later.
Okay, we'll save it for afters.
Every time, yes. Here's the thing: are you the same as me, or is it OCD that every time we stop talking, I start to think about the goings on of the day? Are you able to? My therapist told me that she goes, I'm as concerned as, when I ask her, she goes, I'm as nervous and concerned about this as you. But during the day, my mind doesn't go there. It just doesn't go there because I have all these other events, all these other little things. But she's still saying,
well, she has to focus on other people intently for 50 minutes an hour.
No, but I was trying to ask her, but she really wouldn't answer. I mean, she doesn't. I don't just say, what should I do about this situation? But she was verifying that, yes, it is really terrible.
Right.
It's really, really terrible.
Yeah, all you can do is have some sort of sense of perspective and some sort of sense of balance of the things you can control. Go back to your serenity prayer on that one,
Yeah. And I go back to living in California as a fortress.
Well,
California,
and it's battle tested now.
Yeah. What do you mean?
I mean, we had a Trump administration, and California was the place to be for it.
Oh, not even New York, I guess, right?
Not as much.
Yeah,
because parts of New York were tainted by MAGAism. But
where I grew up, Queens.
Yes, because sometimes New York assholes love New York assholes.
Yeah. See, I've told you this story a million times. I didn't like Howard Stern. I couldn't listen so long because of the callers. I did love, I would laugh at his stuff, but every time one of these fucking bully Queens callers would call up, I was like, oh my God, it's not a sophisticated borough.
Yeah.
And clubs on the island, horrible governors. Just the worst. Because you had to be a bad comic to play those. You had to be a New York bad.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, what the fuck?
You had to be a bar comic.
Yeah, a bar comic. And I couldn't do it.
I couldn't either, if that's any solace to you.
But did you do a lot of them? Did you do a lot of bad one-nighters?
I did a fuck ton of bad one-nighters. Yeah. And some good one-nighters. I mean, they weren't all, they weren't all, I mean, there were some bizarre rooms throughout the Midwest that had comedy long enough.
Is it Yoder rooms?
No, not Yoder rooms.
Muller? Ken Muller?
Not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I worked for both of them a tiny bit.
Yes. Don't brag.
But,
don't brag.
Did a lot of Tom Sobel rooms.
Right. Yeah. I think you told me this
and
before.
And a lot of Scott Hansen rooms.
Okay. Scott Hansen did have stuff in the Northwest?
The Midwest. The Minnesota, Wisconsin, North and South Dakota.
So he really turned himself into a macher. Yeah, he was a little macher.
He was not a little macher. He was like a 650-pound macher, but
right.
He was the Don of the Upper Midwest there for a while.
Would you say that my image of him is like just horrible, but did you like him on any level?
We got along. He was an insecure bully, Did
he have a good sense of humor at all?
Yeah, he was he was a very good bar comic.
Right, right.
He was, because he never really left Minnesota, like his whole act was catered to kill in front of Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
And if a big headliner came into town, he'd put himself in the middle slot and try to burn him. It was like,
that's terrible.
It's never good when, that was the one thing that most of the other bookers weren't, was comics themselves.
Right. And it's usually can become, not always, but it can be very problematic.
So he was constantly trying to prove that he could have been one of those guys if he had left, you know.
That's so terrible.
So, yeah, that was kind of his underlying insecurity.
That's like in Scottsdale, where I went to that Howard Hughes. His name is Howard Hughes, not the original Howard Hughes. And I played that club, and he was so terrible. And the club owner insisted on doing a half hour every night for the forever.
Yeah. Well,
and,
you know, in some ways you go, well, you're a comic and you bought a club, that's your prerogative, but it doesn't make for good shows.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm trying to think of where it would be. How about the guy who did David Wood?
To Scott Hanson's credit, he fucking killed when he went up. Almost always.
Right, but then, yeah, I could see that. Would that give him
David Wood, David Wood, who had a club in Minnesota, which became Acme eventually. He would headline it occasionally, but he wasn't around.
But he wasn't.
He lived out in L.A. while the club was in Minnesota.
Did you know him?
I only met him a few times.
Was he a magician or just a regular?
No, he was a stand-up, but he was like a warm-up guy.
Got it. Man. Well, this time when I go back, you know, I realize that I have that, and I know you're going to yell at me, but the thing is, I know that I still want to go back out and do comedy, but I haven't been doing it only on the basis of, I have been doing it here and there, but I'm not in a concentrated way, which I think I want to start doing soon.
I have absolutely nothing in me wanting to do stand-up right now. It's very strange.
Oh, but haven't you felt that way for a little while?
Little while, but
you're really you really don't want to do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have any new material, and the thought of going to do my old material is completely like, why would you fucking do that? So I don't know. I mean, I think it's possible that it may reignite in me. You know, it might take, you know, one great bit in my head that but or one giant horrible experience that I can turn into a 5 to 10 minute bit. But right now it's just not. I don't know. I just don't feel like attention right now. Even.
Yeah, you mean getting attention?
Getting attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that, but the other part is you didn't know the pandemic was going to happen. None of the people, you know, we keep forgetting that right in the middle of all this, you know. What started this whole thing was nobody could go anywhere.
Yeah, but also for me is like I had just finished my big album project right before the pandemic, so it's like I had already sort of done an arc of write a bunch of new shit and record it kind of thing.
Right.
And then because of the pandemic, I never restarted the next thing.
Yes.
And as a result, it just I don't know, it's kind of gone away.
Well, also, when we would go out, I mean, I still, after all of these years, feel like not excited to go to the Improv. It's like none of these clubs are the mainstream clubs I'm like excited to go to.
Well, and for me, there's just like a complete feeling that I've aged out of it when I go to the Improv too, just because there is literally like an entirely new generation of people who I don't know and haven't engaged with and haven't seen their acts, and you know, so I don't feel a part of the scene at all anymore.
Right.
Not that I have for years, but still even more so now. I just don't have that. I don't have that internal badge of comic on me right now.
Yeah.
You know, that I had since I was 15.
Yeah. I do because things are coming out. I'm coming up with a lot of material that I know that if I don't develop it, it will stay. So I'm excited about developing.
And I don't think we're the same either, because that has always been your main, main art form. Yeah.
And I aged out earlier. I was already aged out when I started.
Kind of. Yeah.
I was like 28.
Yes.
So
you got to pass for a lot of years.
Yeah. And I also like being I kind of like being this senior. Oh, no, I don't.
No, I think I honestly think that, you know, if I was you, I wouldn't feel the same way. You know, I think because you have credibility with people and are beloved by enough people to feel welcomed in most places. Yeah,
I mean, that's very nice of you to say that. That's very sweet, and I don't take compliments well, but I thank you.
Yeah, no, and I you know, it's one of the things that I'm I want to say jealous, but I'm not actually jealous. But it is
Right,
kind of,
because
it's one of the things
yeah.
I feel like I'm missing, and that I didn't accomplish.
Well, when we were at your house, you said something. I just want to, stick it in people's faces that we were socializing. But you said you love making things. So I don't think that's ever going to stop. You're always going to want to make things. Unless you don't.
No, I mean, that is all that really motivates me. And when I'm not making the things I really want to be making, I do things like make ice cream. It's like,
yeah.
I want to be growing on some level or moving forward on some level in my life at all times, So last year that's why I did all that fucking work on my house. It's like, at least we're moving forward in that direction, if nothing else,
right.
So that's been my only sort of guiding principle about how to live this self-employed kind of life, is grow on some level, and it's not always going to be your career,
Why don't you do a podcast?
I wish.
No, seriously, you wouldn't. I would do all the work. I edit the whole thing.
Yeah.
All you have to do is show up.
Sounds very attractive.
I saw a face there that was an acting face I've never seen from you before.
I still have chops. I'm not saying I lost all my chops, just my desire.
Oh man! But the thing is that weren't you and Grouper thinking of doing something?
Yeah, we're still talking about it, but
That's good.
Nothing happens fast with Gruber and I.
No, if you're not moving, he's not moving, right?
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, like doing a comedy thing that wasn't stand up, that made me feel like, like we have a thing that we can do that only we do.
Yes. What's it called?
I don't want to talk about it, but
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. But that's what's appealing about it to me, is that if we did this thing, it would be uniquely our thing.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's much more appealing to me than just going and being another stand-up
or writing for a show. I just don't think you ever wanted to write for a show. I mean, it just wasn't fun for you.
I did. I learned it wasn't fun for me.
Right. So you loved it. I mean, like anything, of course you were into it, but the writing, do you ever want to write now? I guess my question.
Well, it's an abstract question really for me, because I've always both wanted to write and hated writing.
Right.
Simultaneously. So no, what I want is the idea that makes me want to write.
Yes. Exactly. Something that you really will get over the hump.
I have been writing lately, and I've found myself only sort of moderately inspired, but I'm staying the course just, for the discipline aspect of it. But, no, I have this real internal switch that if an idea truly excites me, I am just fucking all in.
Yeah.
And I just haven't had one of those in a while.
Oh, well, who'd you have dinner with? That would have been fun if that guy did that thing.
Oh, the John
Cleese?
John Cleese thing, yeah.
Yeah. What am I talking
I don't know
about?
if it would. I mean, it would have been a project, but it wasn't. Right. It wasn't like my dream project.
Right. I could see that. Yeah. It's like. But those other projects you did were dream projects.
Well,
that's the thing.
In the sense,
the stand-up one is absolutely outstanding. They're both great documentaries.
Yeah, they were both. I mean, they were there for different reasons in my life.
Yeah.
But the stand-up documentary, in terms of just, the situation of having someone willing to pay for it simply so that no one else would fuck with me.
Right.
Like, that was a perfect situation.
Yes.
The guy I hooked up with, Ryan, to produce it, did a great job and kept so much shit off my plate.
Yeah.
I edited it myself. And so it was like, in many ways, it was the perfect project, for me.
Right.
Because it was very small. It was, very sort of self-contained.
I know, but
it wasn't full of clerical nightmares like the other one had for me.
And also, you couldn't predict what it was going to be.
Exactly.
That's what I loved about it.
It was all, my favorite thing and my biggest skill is problem solving, creative problem solving.
Right.
And documentaries are all that,
Yeah, because I still think about it now. I still think about it right now. Like, I can think about the guy who was popular what was the, well, he was in China. It was like, I was popular and but you were seeing people worried. You could see, I mean, you could kind of see, I thought that I wouldn't want to be a comic in China, but that could be true now here.
Right. Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to glamorize it. That's for sure.
But in a sense you did, like the way you poured out those people. I have like Segura and who was the other guy? I love the way,
Chad Daniels and Pete Lee.
Yeah, it was just like.
No, I mean, I wanted to glamorize the fun it can be.
Yes.
To be out, on an adventure with comics.
Right.
That part I did, but I didn't want the showbiz aspect of it to be overplayed, because it was a pretty low end endeavor, showbiz wise,
Right, but that's what made it. Documentary wise, that's what made it really great. Doesn't necessarily make it great, but that angle where you're going, I don't know if I could go on a trip like that, because that's what I'm relating to the whole thing. Could I go on that trip? No. Well, I probably would have at some other point in my career. But
well,
just like
and I dipped my toes in and did a couple sets myself just to see and all that.
How was that?
It was okay. I was so fucking rusty that it wasn't a great thing, but I put a moment or two of it in the movie.
Oh, I don't remember that, but I should remember it. But
do you read? It was important not to make it about me. So.
Oh, so you weren't doing it? Oh, David Chase is in The Sopranos. I saw him in one. I don't know if he's in more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's like a guy. Paulie Walnuts is look. Hey, Paulie Walnuts thinks he's like a big shot in Italy. Goes, hey, Commander, how are you? And David Chase is smoking a cigarette like that. I am fascinated by David. I just love everything about the way. I'm not going to talk about The Sopranos again, but just that he came from. Did we talk about this last week? That he came from Colombo and he came from all these things? Because I think that's fascinating. He wrote for Colombo.
Yeah. I don't know how fascinating it is.
I got nothing. No, nothing is fascinating. Nothing. I haven't come up with a fascinating topic since I wanted to be someone who was known for writing the greatest songs of all time, for having a voice that I liked. Karen. Don't waste your time on me. Karen. Don't waste your time on me. Can't you see? You need somebody who will help you belong. You need somebody who will help you be strong. But Karen, that person isn't me.
Yes,
Hey, Karen. Okay. Okay. I hope I die before I get old. Talking about my generation, Karen. Maybe I will get fooled a couple more times. Here is the new boss. Same as the old guy. Can't you see? You need somebody who will help you belong. You need somebody who will help you be strong. But Karen, that person isn't me.
Yes,
I love that song.
Yes,
for sure. I'm sorry. This is beyond the pale. 2 minutes beyond the pale.
Is your mic even plugged in, or is it?
Anything?
No, I mean I'm hearing the mic from your laptop.
You can hear yourself, right?
No, I can hear you, but it's through the laptop mic.
How about now?
No, not yet. Input USB.
I'm going to go off the...
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I can hear you.
Your mic is not engaged.
Okay. So I think that means I have to go to settings somehow, right?
Yeah, I thought you had heard me before, but yeah, you go to settings and put input USB.
Okay, so then can you call me back in a second? I can't go to settings without disconnecting you. For some reason.
Why is that?
Okay, I see the Facebook is... Okay, maybe I can... Hold on a second. Hold on, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Please. Okay, so...
There we go.
Oh, you can hear me now, too?
No, it's good. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying my sound's all good?
Everything's fine, yeah.
Oh, okay. I think what happened was that I was on a lock screen. Somehow, I didn't realize I was on a lock screen because... can I plead my case to you about why I'm 7 minutes late? Can I plead the case? I think it's going to be entertaining.
You can, but I'm going to dismiss it regardless.
No, what's that?
I'm going to dismiss the case regardless.
No. But I think it's there's some charm to the story.
Okay, good.
You know how my stories fall dead?
That would be a welcome addition.
You know how my stories fall dead?
I do. Nice move with the coffee and mic separation. I like it.
So I got up today, and I can't tell you a lot about it, and the project didn't involve you, but we had a 2-day jet down to San Diego. Had to go down there for a pleasure trip, which, as you know, used to be taking my mother-in-law to the airport.
Is he right?
So we had to go down to San Diego for 2 days. So what happened was I came back this morning.
You're mixing the story up now.
Okay, we don't have
or it was a pleasure trip?
No, just to visit. It's nothing to. No, I don't want to explain. There's money. There's the CIA. I've told you for years I'm with the FBI, and then you said name one fact that you could substantiate that you're an FBI man, and I still have not named one fact. No, we went down to New Jersey. That's not right. We went down to San Diego for 2 days.
Okay.
And then, so I got back late last night. I had an Audi car. Audi, not bad. I used to drive an Innie.
Is he right? It took him 4 hours round trip to come up with that.
I know. I'm happy to say I just came up with it now. I didn't think about it previously. So I get up and return the car. The car place opens at 8 o'clock. So what does that mean for Andy Kindler? I get up at 8 o'clock. No, I said, you know what I always say? I'll get up at 7:30. No, the place doesn't open until late. So I got up at 8. Anyway, I get over there. I leave at 8-ish. I go to fill up because I too low on the gas, right?
Sure.
They say 5/8, right? I'm at like 4/8. I think they're going to charge you up a whole lot.
So close.
So I put some gas in. Boom. That was a funny story. The guy said, hey, you putting gas in? I said, yeah. So then I went to the Enterprise and I drop it off. And
did they beam you up?
I didn't get it first. And then I did. And that's the story of my life. So they beamed me up. So I go there. First of all, a very funny story. We found a burner. I thought we found a burner phone in our car.
Yeah.
A burner phone, right? So I hand the guy back the phone. He goes, this is someone's landline. It literally was someone's landline. Like they had left their landline, and maybe they were, I'm coming down and get the car.
What do you mean their landline? How could that?
It was a landline phone, like just like a Panasonic, except there was no the battery compartment was off, but just like a regular phone you'd have with a landline,
like a portable phone with it.
Yes.
Okay.
To me, I thought anything that's that size with numbers on it has to be mobile. I wouldn't even think of it.
No,
but boy, were they laughing at me.
It's an odd find. It's an odd find.
And they were laughing at me. So I got back by 8:30. So now I dropped up at 8:30, 8:45. Now I'm on foot. And I'm walking back. Now I don't have to, but why wouldn't I get my prescriptions at CVS, right? My plan is get the prescriptions at CVS. They were out of the Dilaudid, and they said the morphine's coming in next week, and the fentanyl is on hold. So I get there. Now it's 9:05. I said, I got to get a couple of groceries. Are you kidding me? Josh would be disappointed if I didn't shove down a banana, right? Wouldn't you be like, did you at least eat a banana?
No, I was just hoping you're going, Josh will be disappointed if this doesn't turn into a fucking story at some point.
I know, but at least it's quick. So I go out. I get out quick. Now it's 9:15, 9:20. I get out. Now I'm running. I go, I have only two things that I have to do. I have to eat the banana, and I have to make a fresh pot of coffee. There's no way I could use the ice from last night, and I think you agree with me on that. So that's why I was at 9:30. I thought I could do all of that by 9:30, leaving the house at 8, and I was 7 minutes off. But it is a good story.
No, it's not a good story. It was never a good story.
Okay, well, you want me to be dishonest with you?
And I didn't care. I didn't care.
What do you care about that I've talked about in the last 7 years? What do you? Okay, so what else, Andy? Okay, so here's what happened. I couldn't. My plan was to sample, let the ice cream soften, and sample the ice cream.
Oh, this is the ice cream.
Yes. I already told you the ice cream was delicious, but now I was going to let it soften and see what the deal was. But I had to get to San Diego, and so I can't do everything in one fucking day. So I softened it, ate it, and I had mixed feelings that I've had every time I've eaten any stevia-based item I've had, right?
Right.
Then last night, Susan says, Can I try that? We're back home from San Diego. Can I try that? She's like, this is fucking delicious. Excellent. And I don't even like vanilla ice cream. Right? So I don't want to be the guy who never gives you real feedback, especially if we're going to take this nationally.
Sure.
It feels like it's still, it could be just because of the stevia, it's like still that ability to have it not be smooth, I think is why you have to soften it. And
I can make it smoother. There was a real hitch because I had to adjust my recipe for the stevia.
Right.
Because I usually use condensed milk as part of my mix of dairies.
Right.
But you can't use condensed milk because by its very nature, condensed milk is sweetened. So I used I had to use evaporated milk.
There's a lot of sugar,
I tried
right?
I didn't want to put any sugar in. So I switched to evaporated milk, which is a different product.
I know, and I had both of them, so I'm not even talking from stupidity.
So I think, but I don't know how you feel about egg yolks, but I think a couple of egg yolks would emulsify it and do pretty nice. I love
egg yolks.
And I think if I go to a more standard cream to milk ratio, which is higher in cream than what I generally use, I think we'll solve that problem. We'll solve a lot of those problems.
And here's what I'm hesitant to say.
Because I want to be able to at least make one that you go, yes, this is better than the store-bought vanilla. That's my goal with you, particularly.
Right, and let's stipulate, I'm not thrilled with any of the store-boughts.
No, I know. I'm trying to see if we can.
Except for I did like the Halo Top. Oh, here's the other thing. No, and you shouldn't talk about this in the podcast. The problem with the other stuff, the Halo Top, I had to stop it because of stomach issues.
Was that because of the sugar alcohol?
Yes, sugar alcohol. Stomach issues. No, when you eat a pint of Elvis Weinstein stevia-based ice cream, your stomach feels like a pillow. You feel like a morning afterwards.
That's good. So that's sort of a baseline for me is don't cause gastrointestinal distress in your customers.
Well, so then I went back to my Breyers. I went back to the Breyers last night because I wanted to sample A, B.
Sure.
And the Breyers is no sugar added. Breyers is no sugar added. It's pretty good. But you still have 7 hours later. And I'm not, I don't talk about this. You can embellish it. But it's not good for it's something maltol is what they have in that one.
Yeah.
So that's got to be another sugar alcohol. I must not do well with sugar alcohols. But who does?
Yeah.
These days.
It's not natural. That's
right. So, the only other comment I might have, but I don't think so, because Susan said it was delicious, was I was wondering, do you think it's too sweet? And I think I'd be hesitant to say that.
That I don't know because I've never used stevia, so
you just use the regular what they said to use for that amount, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think you got to stick. But
with that. But I think I'm gonna next, if I can find it, I'm gonna get more of a regular pure stevia powder.
Oh yes,
as opposed to the mixed to make it sugar equivalent.
Yes.
So, this is interesting stuff.
No, this is wrong. This is different. This is more of like, this is a real relationship.
This is
it's
science.
Not anything more. Well, this is no more we talk about phony stuff. We pretend we had a meal, or we talk, we say we had a party. I mean, we used to talk about a party we never went to in the early days. What's wrong with your headphones?
There's something happening, and I'm thinking it's my headphones and not your mic, so I'm hoping.
Oh, let me tell you something, my friend. Oh, should I keep, I wanted to be quiet.
Oh, no, you were about to tell me something, my friend.
No, I was about to say something. I realized that's what you don't do when you're fixing something.
No, you actually need to talk for me to hear it.
And that's what I was asking. Do I need to talk? How's it sounding now?
All right.
Do you know, how about people who do...
So, all right, well, I'm not going to go every week with ice cream. But I am going to go back to the lab on this one.
Oh, gosh, so exciting.
I'm glad Susan liked it.
She was like, she doesn't like vanilla or stevia. Well, now she doesn't mind the stevia that much, but she can have a little sugar. So she has she can. Clunk. That's a drop the mic because I fell asleep.
Oh, okay. I thought you were watching Trump's speech last night.
I have not seen anything of the convention, but I want to say this. Allison had a very, I'm not on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
But Allison had a very funny line on Facebook that Susan reported to me, because Susan's on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And it was her reaction to the Tenacious D thing was, oh, Kyle.
She goes back with Kyle years, but way pre-Tenacious D. She was friends with Kyle.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm not tearing down her relationship with Kyle. I took it as a slam of Kyle. If it was like, oh, I'm sorry, but here's the thing.
No, she hasn't been friends with him in years, really. But
I've spent time with Kyle Gass.
Yeah.
You are not Kyle Gass. I am not Kyle Gass. He is not a. I want you to say this right. Can he sue me for saying that he's not a pleasant? I played poker with him a couple of nights.
Yeah.
And he got angry at me because I'm sorry. I know I'm obnoxious, but no, it's a friendly game, and I was splashing the pot.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what that means?
Sure.
Like and very splashy. It would actually annoy him. It just annoyed him. And then Susan left her purse there. We had to go back the next day. He's not particularly friendly. He's like
I've met him a few times, and that's been my general vibe.
Right. And I could see how. Now, I would think if I was in his position, because I don't think he does anything in the group, right? He plays boom, 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 boom. Then he plays a rhythm guitar.
He's the main guitar.
I don't know anything about the group. Yeah. But I imagine that you would think if you were in his position, you go, oh my God, I'm the luckiest person. I bring very little to the table. Bringing very little to the table. So, but here's the thing. I could know as soon as I heard that, I was like, that's the Kyle I could see doing that. Now, don't get me right, wrong, or in between. I would never say something like that about Trump, but now I'm convinced because of OCD that if I'm ever in a situation, I'm going to say something horrible like that.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, I can't, I mean, I can roll my eyes at the joke that he made.
Right.
It was just bad.
Dumb.
It was just dumb and bad and not wise.
Right.
But the reaction to it was also ridiculous.
Right.
And hilarious as far as I'm concerned. Don't get me wrong. I think the whole thing is hilarious. And I think just, just even Jack Black's response is hilarious to me because, it's like this thing is like created as like one of the most irreverent things they can
get
do.
Your aim right or whatever,
and he's clutching his pearls at the fucking little tiny joke that that his partner made, kind of, and it was pretty funny to me.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I don't see that. This is the way I'm saying. I want my inside baseball take since I know the party so well. All right, Kyle Gass is a very unpleasant guy. He's not happy. He can't be happy. He's not. People don't go, Jack Black's not here, right? Great, because I wanted to tell you about your... No, he already feels... This is my theory. He already feels not fulfilled in that role. Because I think that's what an angry man says that, is what I think. So what's my point? Okay, so an angry man... So, Jack Black...
I think you're conflating two things completely. I think...
No, but... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because I think, someone you liked could have made the shitty joke too. I don't think it's a,
I make the mathematics of it are, he's kind of an asshole. That was a stupid thing to say, and I hope to God I wouldn't have not said that, just because it doesn't matter. In other words,
I don't get to the third part because I know I wouldn't have.
Right. Okay, so now, because you don't have OCD like me. So, okay, so here's what I think Jack Black is saying. You're saying clutching pearls. I think Jack Black is saying, here's my chance. Here is my fucking chance to get... Now, you have to question, why would he still be touring with them after 75 years? Yeah. I can't imagine him going on the road. Why does he need to go on the road?
Because he likes it. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed being a rock star.
I think, but
this particular partnership allowed for that.
Jack Black and the Heart Attack, Jack Black and the Fanatics, Jack Black and the Kids from Detroit. There will be another Jack Black band. But he maybe wants to get off of the Tenacious D bus because this guy Kyle Gass is like a wart hanging on his temple for 100 years.
Okay.
Case closed. Do I sound too angry?
I don't. Yeah, yes, you do.
Okay, so if this bothers you?
No, it doesn't bother me because I have no loyalty to anybody involved. But
what is it that sounds? I can see when you're I can see when you're delighted.
Well, I think I just think that your take on that, that Jack Black has, that he's like relieved that this happened because he can finally get rid of Tenacious D, which he's been touring worldwide with by his,
I'm saying inside baseball, he can't stay. If he has any kind of instincts, comedically or as a person, he's going to tell at some point that there's something wrong with Kyle Gass. He is going to figure it out.
You don't think he's figured out what's wrong with Kyle Gass in the past 30 years and decided to live with it?
Right, but he's a very loyal man. He's a very loyal man.
Is he?
To Kyle Gass, he has been.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't think that you're saying it's charity that he's been doing this gig, and I don't think it is.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the team of Tenacious D. He may have wanted to bail from that team the first movie he got or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you're saying he loved it.
I'm saying why wouldn't he love it?
Because I don't think it's that. Well, first of all, I don't think it's great music personally, but I don't think that that's all he can offer musically is his duo with Kyle Gass. I'm just talking about as like if two people work together and they annoyed each other. This would be a great way to get out of it. Now, why?
Right, and you're saying it as if that's a fact and true.
It's well, I'm allowed to. Here's the thing: I'm 67 years old. I don't expect to be. I love Jack Black. I'm not expecting to be in a Jack Black movie. I have no desire to see Kyle Gass or talk about Kyle Gass. All I'm telling you is the absolute truth about. As soon as I saw this happen, this is what I thought about. So. I would say that I think there's something generally about how my voice gets all worked up, but I stand behind my opinion.
Okay,
it's just my opinion,
right?
And I think it's a funny.
And take. You asked me what my opinion was when I was not agreeing with it, and I was just saying.
What is your opinion?
I think I explained it.
Oh, you think that he was clutching? Okay, see, I don't in that analysis. You're saying, come on. Someone could say, come on, Jack Black. What's the deal? I don't agree with that at all. It's like
No,
this
I mean,
guy's annoying.
I don't think he should have continued his tour because it had become so fucking poisonous there.
Yeah, they were going to deport them.
Yeah, well,
somebody.
no, some
Well, they
fucking
weren't, but
some
somebody.
fucking showboat asshole was saying they should be deported. It wasn't like they were going to deport them.
Well, 7 months from now, showboat assholes will be deporting us if the election is lost, right?
Yes.
So it could happen.
No, but I just, it's just so, you're on stage, something is happening, something that's not planned is happening. I'm just saying, it's so easy to make a fucked up joke. If you look at
Twitter, and
it's not like I have like that much. It's not like I'm a Tenacious D fan, not a Kyle Gass fan.
I'm a Jack Black fan.
I'm not that big a Jack Black fan, but
I like School of Rock.
I loved School of Rock, and I loved other stuff he's done, and I've hated shit he did. So that
Yeah, and I love him when he's on Letterman or when he used to go on.
Yeah, he's a fun entertainer.
He did a great speech about Biden before a couple of weeks ago.
Right.
Right.
But I'm just saying that, someone comes on stage with a cake and a robot and you're trying to think of something funny to say. If you're not very good at that, you can easily fuck up.
Yes. But, it's just a different theory about it. My theory is that that I'm thinking Jack Black, if you're a comedian, you have to be somewhat, aware of how people are. And so I think this is like the other way to look at it is like this.
Yes, but over the top Trump hatred is not exactly been out of bounds in comedy.
It's not the Trump hatred. It's the problem of what it did. It's the problem of what it did. Like you say, he's clutching at pearls. I think he's just reacting because, like it's not his fault that Kyle Gass said it, and he just shouldn't have to go to the wall for it. He shouldn't have to go to the wall for him. So I don't think he's clutching at pearls. I think he's making a clear break.
Well, he definitely seems to be doing that.
With an irritant.
Yeah. That I don't know. See, that's the thing is, they created that thing together and they had great success with it,
Yeah, but it's like, yeah. It's funny. Everything is funny to me because, in a way, because it's like, just, I can't in a way separate my personal opinions about people from their act. And in a sense, like my personal opinion about Louis C.K. turned out to be what he fucking was, even before I knew about it or I had heard the rumors about it. But he was always, I don't know my point. Do you remember what I talked about? Just forget it. Something good?
Just that your instincts about people are always dead on, I think is what you're saying.
No, that's not what it is. That's what it sounds like. But the point is that what was bothering me about Louis C.K. was what he's, the story about what he said to you. I thought that was a fucked up story, just like one typical garbage story about Louis C.K. trying to run a trip on somebody. And that's what he did with everybody. And he did it with me too. He did politics with me when I played Caroline's with him and he wouldn't come to my defense when I was double booked. I'm saying I saw him for what he was. Yes, maybe I also took it too personally, although I don't know. I enjoy the material. I hated Louis C.K. even before it made sense to hate him. I love all of those lines and I love the bits. And all I'm saying is I can't separate the personal. There is not always a separation from the personal to the art because I don't like Kyle Gass and I saw him being an asshole. Now, I think that makes me stereotypically smudge it together in a simple, I would agree is not probably completely true way, but look at the Louis C.K. thing. I hated his guts. Nobody would listen to me. And then the guy's exposing himself in front of women and ruining their careers. Ruining women's careers.
Yeah, but you didn't have any, no one would listen to me is the part that I don't get. I mean, that's the,
no.
That's the
You're
royal.
wrong. I'm telling you. Sarah Silverman yelled at me. Everybody yelled at me. Todd Barry yelled at me. I was hated within the comedy community of those people who still supported Louis C.K. They were I had yelling fights with Sarah Silverman. not with Todd because you can't yell at him, but he was like saying he was disappointed in me to Neil Hamburger and stuff. It's absolutely not true that people were backing me up on the Louis C.K. stuff.
No, I'm not saying they were backing you up. I'm just saying
they thought I was jealous.
Well, but I'm just saying what I was catching on is that if you're railing against someone before there's actual, I hate him, he's an asshole is a different argument than he's a sexual
no, but I was
abuser.
hating. No, but the points I was making were I didn't know he was a sexual abuser, but I knew that everything was bullshit in his show. That he would always he'd do all these weird sexual things, and yet he's just the innocent victim. Why are you trying to punch me in the face, lady? Or I was seeing through his grab for fame, and I was reacting to people like Emma Nussbaum and all these people saying he's the funniest comedian on the planet. And then so to say he was not only the funniest comedian, he's not even the funniest comedian in New York. All right, that was true and funny before the sexual stuff. And when if you see that movie, the Sorry Not Sorry, I recommend it to everybody. I'm in that movie.
I do know that.
Yeah, it's really you'll just see anybody to see that movie and not come out of that movie saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I ever liked him." I can't. And look, I am willing to say it. I think he's funny. He's made me laugh at times in my life. He has absolutely made me laugh. But you can't undo the circle with him because it's just. First of all, he says. I'll give you an example of the type of thing that he calls comedy. He goes, "Okay, I'll talk about it. All right, He's going to talk about it at his concert, live concert. I think it's the one that had no, not the sorry one. He goes, I'm going to talk about it. All right. Next, if you ever want to expose yourself to somebody and you ask them, can you expose themselves to you? And they say yes, don't do it. In other words, like if they say, even if you make sure you ask them 5 times, 6 times, he's presenting it that he asks these people, could he expose himself in front of them? It's not what he was doing. He exposed himself in front of people, not like, would you mind to see my penis? It was like a power move type thing.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I covered that one good. Right. What do the letters say?
Let's take a look.
Oh, did you solicit questions?
I did.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And I'm happy about it at the moment.
It's time for questions. What do you want to know? We love your questions so much. It's half our show. Half our show.
Perush.
Can I say something?
You can.
The Perush is on fire.
Can Josh give the difference between a Dennis Miller impression and a Richard Belzer impression like he did a George Takei versus Keith Morrison?
Oh, boy, I'm telling you, this guy, what does he sit? Is he like a librarian of the show? Does he sit down and make card catalogs?
Yes. I think he's beyond card catalogs at this point. I think he's meta tagging. He's
if I had any information, I would go along with you, like Dewey Decimal or something.
That goes back to your original library.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Microfiche, you could have tried.
Microfiche. I used to use Microfiche a lot. I have my CV. I didn't say CV because I didn't know the word. I have my CV on Microfiche. Like that.
That's good. Difference between Dennis Miller and Richard Belzer. What? What are you pointing at?
Bananas. Okay, I'm sorry. We're trying to get up and have a day here.
What, you're shouting at diagnoses now?
No, banana. I bought bananas for Susan along with first
fruit. That's my joke.
Oh, what was the joke?
The diagnoses. Bananas.
I didn't get that because I'm not smart. My father discouraged me, and then you do intelligent comedy. I hate you for it. It's
incompatible in many ways.
No, I hate you for it because I think you're trying to go over on me.
Okay, the difference between Belzer and Dennis Miller. I think, attitudinally, Belzer is pure condescension, Whereas as Dennis Miller,
I love it.
whereas Miller is a sort of inviting you to his arrogance. And so I think the difference, the difference is very much because Belzer was all about crowd control. He was an MC all those years at Catch. And so his style came out of literally just condescending to the crowd and being better than them. Okay, babe. Yeah, right. Okay, Scooter. Whereas Dennis Miller is more like, as Van Leeuwenhoek once postulated, babe. Well, no, babe is Belzer. Cha-cha, choo-chee.
I wonder if he does it, but I'm sure Dennis Miller has said babe.
He probably has, but if you're doing impressions,
right,
you have to save babe for Belzer.
That's right. Hey, babe. I said
if the one word guttural impression difference is babe versus chooch.
If you go look in the show notes, we are going to include the shot of, because you can do it at home, the shot of you doing Belzer and the shot of you doing Dennis Miller, and you'll see that Dennis Miller can come out of the side of your
exactly.
mouth.
That's right.
Babe.
Babe is a full frontal, whereas chooch.
Yeah. Perush, you are still on fire.
But they both require some head work. There's both a tilt
So. And Richard Belzer remained funny. He was always funny, whereas Dennis Miller, and also Richard Belzer was, in terms about the politics.
But
he had, I agree with most of his positions more than I would agree with.
Although Miller. They were both politically crazy.
Sometimes he was, but he was more on the left. He was more. He was
a lefty conspiracist, but he was still a conspiracist.
He could have been like a 9/11 conspiracy thing, but I don't necessarily.
I think he had a long list.
But it
all came from JFK for him.
I mentioned to you that he invited me to the south of France.
You did mention that, but did I mention to you he wasn't being sincere?
I didn't get that the first time, but now I do.
Babe. Pure condescension.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe come see me in the south of France, babe.
Oh, I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything like that since Nice. Oh, he would be great in French.
I'd love to hear that story next time you're in the south of France, babe. I think that's what he said.
He would have a field day with Bouillabaisse, babe.
Sure.
Oh no, Bouillabaisse.
That'd be more Miller.
I want to do Dennis Miller. Yeah. Bouillabaisse. Yeah, he would like the references. Dennis Miller would like the depth of the references, where Belzer would go, "I said that to your mother last night, babe."
Right.
Stuff like that.
There you go. Tweet Pahara says, we are definitely going to need more of Patrolman Jackie Mason pulling over Mel Gibson. Thank you for bringing back the questions.
Look, Mr. Gibson, do you have any idea how fast you were driving, Mr. Gibson? I mean, I was in my patrol car. I said to myself, look, that man ahead of me is driving very fast. I think if I do my Jackie Mason impression for 10 or 15 minutes, it starts to get good. And then you see the limited capacity of me to do voices. The other way to go with it is, he's really, Mr. Gibson. Hi, are you Mel Gibson? Well, you're probably wondering why I pulled you over.
I like the first one better. It gives us a little more dignity, a little more power.
Yeah, that's right. It's not like it's not like the Jews it's not me getting back at the Jews in Queens.
Yeah, I don't want an Arnold Stang like Jew in this. Mike Sislak says, when coworkers ask me what kind of podcasts I listen to, I tell them it's two guys who just talk. One of them has ADHD, so that's always fun. Thought Spiral is honestly the only podcast I've come to enjoy. I started listening for Mort, but stayed for you guys.
Oh man, that makes me so happy. I mean, we are clientele. I don't know if we call them clientele or entertainment partners. These people, we're bringing real people, real mensches, and people who matter to our show. Maybe it is just 1,000 people, but it's 1,000 people who are willing to spend hundreds of thousands in free coffee for us.
It is. They're willing. Maybe
willing.
Maybe not able, but willing.
Thank you, Mike.
John Dunbar says, what's Josh's take on the LeBron Bronny situation in Lakersville?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even know. Is it happening?
It happened. They drafted him at number 55 in the second round.
So, is he a good player? I'm not trying to bash anybody.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I want him to be a good player.
He's a good player. He's not a great player, and yet, he has potential to be a very good player. But the amount of scrutiny that's been on him as a 55th pick has been ridiculous.
Oh, that's not good for him.
Is it nepotism? Yeah, of course it is. Is that new in the NBA? It's not at all. How many juniors are coaches in the, there are so many coaches that were put on their father's staff for their first gig.
Right.
There's just, there's plenty of second generation players in the NBA. That probably got some favorable treatment because of their name, but their dad didn't happen to still be in the league at the time.
So this is what's going to be fun. I mean, it's going to be fun to see them play together, right?
Well, I mean, it'll be fun. It'll be fun for LeBron. Is he what?
He's not retired yet, the elder.
No, he's still playing. That's the point.
How old is he?
He's going to turn 40 next month, I think.
Oh, so he could have a couple more years even.
He could. He just signed a 2-year deal.
That's what I would have offered him, and not a penny more, or not a day more.
But it's his 22nd season this year.
Well, a lot of times, no, that's a long career. I think that's there aren't many people who have had longer careers than that.
But Bronny, I don't think it's unreasonable that he was a second round pick. He was a huge prospect out of college. Then he had a heart attack in his freshman year.
Well, what happened?
He had a heart attack at USC.
Oh, you just said that.
At USC during the summer, and wasn't able to rejoin the team until after heart surgery and mid-season. So his year at USC was not exactly a fair test of his skills. But
what was wrong? What did they find out? What was wrong?
He had a heart defect that they were able to fix.
But he's cleared to play now.
Yes.
Okay. Very exciting. I think
I almost answered that no.
Because it would have just been more satisfying?
Yes. Because he's playing.
Oh, are you saying, is that like I would get that more if I followed the Lakers? I would get what you're saying. It would have a deeper meaning.
So I feel I'm impressed by the amount of pressure that the kid seems to be able to handle, and watching him play, he's an engaged and good player, I think. And I think at 19 in the summer league, you can't really judge him.
So is there a guy named Eddie Schminking who wasn't drafted, who's now saying, "God damn it,
I'm sure
my father wasn't run"?
I'm sure anyone who came after him or didn't get drafted has a bit of that. But
if you don't get drafted, isn't there still you could come on in during the summer league, you do the tryouts, you come on in?
Yes, you can.
So that would not be over.
You are an undrafted free agent if you are not
right.
Drafted.
My wife said that to me on our wedding night.
Uh-huh.
Then I said, close the door.
Nico says, just popping in to say hi. Started listening only. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, he pretended to be mad for a second, honey. No, he was funny. He said, oh, for fuck's sake. Are you kidding me? He has a parade of people dropping off deliveries, UPS all the way down to Cartel. Well, that's not right. That's not the name of a company.
Back to Nico.
DHL. That's what I meant to say.
Nico says, just popping by to say hi. Started listening a little over a year ago, but this podcast has already seen me through being unhoused twice. So thanks for the consistent laughs. Hope you two are well.
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I hope you, Is
that Nico?
That's Nico, and I hope, unhoused situation number 2 has been resolved and you're
Me too.
back safe. Stephen L. Yates says, I'm watching cartoons instead of news these days. Who's your favorite Looney Tunes character? Any non-Looney Tunes favorites? I used to do a bit when I was 16 or 15 about you combining the news with the cartoons. Be very quiet. We're hunting contours. It was my big joke.
Wait, was this in your act?
Yes.
All right, I like that.
Elmer Fudd is a Nicaraguan nationalist.
It writes itself on a certain level.
And it kind of dates itself, too, doesn't it? My favorite Looney Tunes character is, I don't know. It might just be Bugs Bunny. I don't know. I don't know how you,
I thought you had a stroke.
I thought of it more as a lack of help.
I'm sorry. I care about you. I do care about you.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yuck.
Yuck is right. No, yuck is right.
Do you have a favorite Looney Tunes character? That's what we're all waiting for fuck's sake. Jesus Christ.
No, well, I think that I've told you this. I'm not a Looney, and that's not how I grew up. I grew up with hacky Hanna-Barbera sitcom-like cartoons. That's what I was drawn to. So I saw very few and then some of those would bother me. Why are they making fun of the person's lisp like that?
Yeah.
So I'm both not that familiar and have issues with some of the there's a little kid going, why did they? And also, why wasn't it available for me? I got Rocky the Squirrel. Just put myself out of my misery now.
I was a big Rocky and Bullwinkle fan for the outside of the Looney Tunes sphere. Let's see. Let's go for some of the people who didn't quite follow directions as well as the others, but I still got your back.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. They should be happy that you found them.
Scrumptious Mike says, forgive me if it's been brought up before, but have either of you been in a bad car accident before? Love and peace, Semites.
I have not.
I've not been in a bad car accident, but I've been in a couple of collisions.
Right.
Neither when I was driving. I was a passenger in both.
And it was scary, right?
It was scary because it was, what was scary is kind of both times you kind of see it about to happen.
Right.
And there's nothing, and because you're a passenger, there's nothing you can do about it. But I was in a friend's Jeep once and I took when we hit, I took like a big shot to the head on the roll bar of the Jeep.
So you went to the hospital and everything?
No, I went home.
God, when I think what might have been had you gotten your concussions checked out.
I know. So much hope dashed.
So many dreams
so much
crushed.
Potential squelched.
So much what now?
Johnny Whoop says the young man who shot at the former president was clearly troubled, but how can we stem the tide of depressed young men that seem to be so violent and make our society so unstable?
Well, first of all, I think you got to try and do something about the guns. I've been telling you people this for a long time. We have to try to stop. If you can stop people, if every gun you bought was not an automatic weapon, I think we'd be in much better shape.
I have a theory.
Okay.
About at least young white men and their current troubles. Not that young white men haven't always been a source of trouble.
Right, and you're not being uniform about white people.
But I'm specifically talking about white men in this case. And that is the death of rock and roll has something to do with it, because it's the space that was once filled to sort of vent young white men's anger was headbanging, and the people who would have showed up at an Iron Maiden concert when I was that age are like at a fucking Joe Rogan show now.
Yeah, I can see the difference.
Well, and I'm serious. I feel like I feel like Joe Rogan and those guys have filled the niche that rock and roll used to do. I mean, because hip hop, while it is, the dominant music form of youth culture, it reflects black experience way more than white experience. So right. I feel like the white experience now is now being funneled to, if you look at like these guys are selling out arenas like rock bands did.
Right.
Right. And getting the same kind of energy at their shows that a rock band would.
Right.
But instead of the sort of general vent your anger, bang your head, shake it all night long kind of thing. There's now like a specific anger assigned to this anger. There's now like targets, specific targets that this anger gets channeled to based on whatever podcast, comic, whatever is talking about. And so this anger becomes more focused and more hateful as opposed to this generalized venting of anger.
I think you're making a good point. But I mean, I also think white people who think I'm not
saying that's the whole problem, but
I think
at all.
Well, I think a lot of white. I mean, the white privilege all over the map is another problem of when there's a race to the bottom and you've been that's why the royal comes out. If there's a race at the bottom, the royal comes down and says, well, I don't make what I used to make, and I'm sure it's this guy who's trying to come up from Nicaragua.
I don't know if that's white privilege so much as white supremacy. Seriously, and there's a difference.
You're right. It is white supremacy. Well, I was trying to put a better gloss on it.
That's my little theory. Now we're going to Instagram. Dan Wade is back to say hi.
Hi, Dan Wade.
Delicious Mix says, have you guys ever thought about TRT? Droopy and Susan's ears just perked up. Peace and love. I don't know what TRT is. It sounds like it has something to do with erections.
Oh, okay. I'm not going to. I was going to hazard a guess, but now I don't want to go there.
At first, I thought it was Carson Daly's old show on MTV. But hey, guys!
Finally, you have the nerve to go after Carson Daly.
Exactly. It's time. Hey, guys! This is Dan Marsh saying, when Josh makes his Andy Kindler documentary, who will play Andy for the recreations? Louis C.K.
Josh Fadem.
No, I'm going Louis C.K. Sorry.
Okay, Louis C.K.
It'll be posthumous, so I can say whatever the fuck I want to. Tweet
me, posthumous me, or posthumous him?
No,
me.
No, you. You're going to die before Louis C.K.
Okay.
That's just universal justice, I'm afraid.
You don't have to drag and drill it home.
Andy and Tweed Smut says, Andy and Josh, any favorite film noirs? Are you fans of the genre or not really into it?
I love it, but I'm not as familiar with anything is the problem. I love when I see them, but then I can go years without seeing them. But I do generally love them. But maybe they'll get old, like, hey, salt cracker, get out of here, you
I have several favorite film noirs, I guess. I don't have a favorite. I think Chinatown.
Oh, yeah, that might be the...
Third Man, great one. Double Indemnity is great.
Yes. Postman Brings Twice.
Very good. I think I would say Sunset Boulevard is film noir.
Yes. So we love it. It's the only thing we like, I think.
That's it. Bryce Colton says, Andy and Josh, do you have any recent book recommendations?
I haven't been in my book mode recently. I have to go into my Apple Books. How about you?
I've been reading Nesterov's book, The Outrageous book about the culture war, history of culture wars. And,
how is it?
That's probably been, that probably has tempered my Kyle Gass reflection too, just because people are always fucking idiots, and it's amusing and outraging how consistently fucked up people are.
Is it what's the book about?
It's all about basically the 100+ year history of you can't say anything anymore.
Oh, okay. That's funny. That's funny. I like that.
Mostly as it relates to comedians and censorship and outrage.
I would say I still recommend The Last Chance Texaco by Ricky Lee Jones, but I listen to the audiobook because she's reading it. but it's really, 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 really good. And
the last thing I read that I really walked away thinking it was nourishing for me was that David Byrne book, The How Music Works.
Did I ever give you that, or you had that?
I had that.
Oh, damn it. I could have given it to you, and then you wouldn't have bought it, and then it doesn't make any sense.
I didn't. My wife bought it as a gift.
Okay. All right. I'm in the clear.
And finally tonight, Buscatty Jones says, I thought Andy would be in more of the UECK doc. I have a feeling they filmed him for hours and only used a minute. I know it's not true, but it's funny to picture.
I think it's not hours, but they did. And at first I was ego or narcissistically wanted to be in there more. You know, I was like, where am I not? But you have to let that ship sail. The movie wasn't about me, but they did interview me for like an hour.
Yeah.
So, you can't help if you have any ego at all to go, I wish I could add a couple of more lines.
Sure.
But who needs to hear that energy? You only get to hear it.
That's right. That's my gift from you.
Yeah, that's your gift.
Well, we've done it again, Andy.
You know, I couldn't do it without you, and even if I tried to do it without you, I would get bored. I love what you've done. I know that we had. I thought this was a good podcast. I'm still working on the way I argue, so I'll try to bring my. But sometimes I notice that people think I'm upset when I'm not really upset. But it is upsetting to me. I can't stand that Louis C.K. So I think there's still a lot of emotion there, and there's a lot of emotion with me with people who came down on me about it. You know what I mean?
No,
people
I got that, and I was only trying to get at a section of it. Not your whole, because obviously your dislike of him is justified,
right?
But
right.
I don't know that it always was. Is my thing. I think the facts caught up with your feelings.
But that's true. Well, I want to say that I think I'm pretty perfect. I really do, and I think that you
not
should
not if you hang up before I go buymeacoffee.com.
That's what I want you to do. Now do it.
Now do it, Mr. Perfect.
Hey, salt cracker. Get out of here, you poached boiled egg.